What's up, everybody? I am Jesse, or GameOverJesse as all of you may know me. Here with us, right above me, is Hylian Rose. Across from her is our guest, Gibbs. And beside me is Chablima.
Hello.
Yeah. So, with the recent announcement and upcoming release of Animal Crossing for the Nintendo Switch. Yeah, I almost said Switch. For the Nintendo Switch, we are going to be discussing and reviewing Animal Crossing for the GameCube, or if you played the Japanese version, the Nintendo 64, which we actually have. It's going to be featured in another video that we have coming in a week or so. So look forward to that, like the top 5 rarest Nintendo 64 games. It's not rare, but I wanted to mention it, so it's a bonus on that list because it only released in Japan, but it's not quite rare enough to make it rare because you can buy it for like $20, I think. Anyways, getting off topic. We're going to be in this video talking about everything we loved about Animal Crossing, and in the next video, we're going to be talking about everything that we hated or would have changed about the original Animal Crossing. Reviewing the game for us this week is Hylian and Chablima. They're going to be, Gibbs and I are going to be asking the questions, and they're going to be giving, I guess we don't even really need to ask questions. They can just tell us like their 2 favorite things about the game each, or 3, I don't know. Depends on how long we go. Starting with Tubes.
Starting with Tubes.
Yeah.
Alright.
Why do you love Animal Crossing on the Switch? Because it's one of your favorite...
You mean on the GameCube?
Yeah, the game, whatever. Yeah, same thing. they both have
GameCube,
handles.
Nintendo Switch, bam, same console.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Both portable.
Yeah.
True.
It's got
Absolutely.
a handle.
So for me, I remember like growing up, I played a lot of GameCube, and Animal Crossing was like the one game out of all the games my family always bought that I never actually owned personally. So I had a friend, and she got Animal Crossing, and she would come over and would play it all the time. And I remember just being so into it, and I don't know why. It was like, yeah, I am a person, and I interact with all these animals, and for some reason, this nasty raccoon guy wants me to do all of his chores to help pay off my rent. Like, why did I come to this town without any money in the first place? Who knows? Why is this a common theme along all of the other Animal Crossing games? Who knows? When will Villager finally get money? But yeah, so I initially, for me, like a really big part of falling in love with that game was like all of the different things that you could do for villagers, the requests, the way that they were so spunky in Animal Crossing for GameCube. Back then, like for whatever reason, Nintendo and the way that they just went about Animal Crossing was like the animals would like insult you, they were really rude to you, and like as the years have gone by, they've gotten like, yeah, I'm super happy and chipper. And like I don't know what happened to the old Animal Crossing, but every time I try to like go back to play it, it's hilarious. And the soundtrack I also fell in love with, because it's like the game to play is a little bit janky, like it's a little bit weird, and I feel like it hasn't aged well. Like trying to go back and play it now after playing other Animal Crossing games, it's like, okay, so why is everything separated off by different acres? And why is it every time I try to go into an acre, it actually like physically has to load into the next acre? So that was probably my biggest issue with it. Sorry, I'm just rambling.
No, it's cool.
Oh no, I get all of this.
Yeah, so like that was my biggest thing. But the thing is, like they did that, but it was still like, it still did a favor to us, the players, because within each acre, you need a certain amount of trees and flowers. And once you do that in every acre, then that's how you get the perfect town. And you can start upgrading, like you can get like the golden watering can. And if you bury your shovel, you get a golden shovel, which is beyond me. And yeah. Okay, Hylian, tell us what you like and what you hate about it. Sorry, I could go for literal hours. I could just keep talking about Animal
fair. Totally fair. Yeah, I guess my experience with Animal Crossing was my brother Travis was the bigger Nintendo gamer than I was at the time. Oh, how the tables have turned. And he bought Animal Crossing because one of his friends convinced him to, and very quickly it became my game. Mine and my mom's. I think there's so many things I love about that game that they like made better in later editions. I would say my two favorite things. I love games that have so much creativity and ability to customize things. So I love that I was creating my own house and I was dressing up the way I want to. And I love that aspect of it, creating the town however I want it to be, which again would be expanded upon. So that's one thing, is the chance to be creative, which is why I loved games like The Sims 2 and stuff. I never had the other Sims games. So I like games where I get to explore my inner rich person, except in this game you are so not rich at all.
You're the opposite, yeah.
Yeah, you start off poor. And there's so many things.
Can you think of anything else?
Like, I'm trying to like narrow it down because there were like a lot of things like, oh, I love that when the four houses were together and things like that.
Do you have a favorite quest or something in it?
There's not many quests. I think I'll probably have to steal Kayla's, and that's the soundtrack. Honestly, New Leaf has a good soundtrack too, but I think the original is just all the feels, all the nostalgia, and it fits so well with the theme.
Yeah. And a really big thing, actually, that I realized now thinking about it is that they had a lot more just kind of random events that happened throughout the town. Like, you have, like, your fishing tournaments and your bug-catching tournaments. But then it also has, like, they have, like, yoga at, like, 5 in the morning if you go to, like, the town square. And, like, just the way that they went about, like, Halloween and Christmas with Jingle. Like, I just felt like GameCube, and the way that they introduced, especially like playing by like real time as well, like was very interesting.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So a couple of interesting facts about the game is, one, it was originally developed for the Nintendo 64 disk drive, but that was a failure. Not too many people bought it. So they ended up just using it for the original Nintendo 64 system, which means they had to take out some stuff, which they added back into the GameCube version. But the main focus that it was being developed for the 64 disk drive was to make use of its clock, to where you have the different timed events and stuff. But whenever the 64 disk drive version was canceled, they ended up actually putting a clock or something like a chip in it to act as a clock in the actual cartridge itself. And on the GameCube version, because it is basically a Nintendo 64 game being ran on the GameCube, whenever it loads up the different areas or whatever, like on the Nintendo 64, it would just load in that one area that you're in for the game. But on the GameCube, because the file size for the game is so low, it loads up the entire game in its RAM, so that you can play through the entire game without having the disc in. So you could put the disc in, load up the game, take the disc out, and it will still play through most of the game because it's all loaded into the RAM. So I thought that was very interesting. But anyways.
Oh, I did have one more quick thought about something positive about the game. This could replace soundtrack. It's not like one of my favorite things, but something a lot of people give flack for the fact, you know, to Tom Nook for always taking your bells. I'm like, but as like a young kid, I was probably like 8, between the ages of 8 and 10, I don't remember, playing that game, the fact that I was not being pressured to get the money in by any point, which is so unrealistic. The fact that you could pay whenever you wanted. If you wanted to keep a small house, you could keep a small house. So it's like, you have the really annoying Tom Nook, but also like you can pay off whenever you want. You can just go around and have fun.
All right.
Which is so not real life, but
Also, one thing I missed was like having KK come play music, and he'd like sit on a box outside of the train station on Saturday nights. I love
such a hippie, and I love it.
Yeah, KK's come a long way. He's a real music artist now.
So proud of him.
All right, Gibbs, do you have any questions you want to ask?
Any thoughts about Animal Crossing?
That you want to know about the original?
Where can I play this, and am I gonna hate my life for playing it?
No, you won't hate your life for playing it. You might accidentally get addicted, or you'll be like, wow, this is aggressively not my thing.
Yes.
There's no in between.
Probably won't be my thing, but I'm willing to give it a try.
Yeah, you don't just casually sit down and play Animal Crossing.
Which one should I play? Should I go ahead and try and find a copy of the GameCube and play the GameCube version and play it? Or should I just go ahead and go into New Leaf?
You should go straight into New Leaf.
Yeah, because
New Leaf is like the refined,
is so much better than the old. Yeah,
it's
we
the
love the
refined
old one
and
because it's nostalgia. I think like we love it because we played it originally, but like if you're just starting, you might as well go with the best version.
Or might as well just wait until the one for the Switch comes out.
But
get
then
Pocket Camp.
Pocket Camp, I feel like isn't a very accurate.
No, it's not. But
feel for Animal Crossing, but yeah.
And don't ever judge Animal Crossing by that multiplayer crap thing. Whatever.
I'd rather play it on the 3DS. Thank you very much.
All right,
yeah,
so
don't do them.
What were your guys' thoughts on the in-game emulators in Animal Crossing? Like where you can sit down and play the other games?
Oh, that was so cool.
Games?
Oh, I forgot about those.
That was awesome. Huh. Yeah, Animal Crossing has a lot of nods to other games and other franchises of Nintendo. Especially as they've gone on, like especially with New Leaf, with the fortune cookies you could get, Yoshi eggs, triple red shells, things, Samus's suit, the hero's tunic, and all this other stuff. There's so many nods to other, I almost said Zelda games, other Nintendo games, and it's really awesome. Pikmin, you can get Pikmin hats on there.
I think the thing about like having those emulated games in game, because of when it came out, I was probably a little bit too young to really appreciate Nintendo at the time, so I think the fact that those were emulated in just like went straight over my head. I was like, wow, this is a cool thing, and then I just never looked at it again because I was too occupied playing Animal Crossing. But I need to keep playing the GameCube one. But it's hard. It's so hard after playing New Leaf. I feel bad for all of my villagers. My animals, my town people.
I do miss how sassy they are. Like you could, if you chose to do their quest, whatever they needed you to do, they would just walk around with the clouds over their head. You'd feel like such a bad person. My mom and I went around the town with our bug nets, and we would get just close enough so we could hit them on the back of the head.
Oh my gosh, you guys are terrible!
And eventually they'd turn around and start crying.
So in Ilya's town, she likes to abuse the animals very clearly with her mom, which is even more concerning.
Horrible humility.
Here comes the dark side of Ilya.
I learned it from her.
Yeah, that's
a horrible.
That's all I have.
Threat.
Yeah.
Right. What is a good beginner's tip as getting into one of the games? What to do, what not to do, or...
I know. The best thing, which you probably shouldn't because sometimes it's fun to do it your own way, look up a face guide.
Yes.
Look up a face guide because, like, your face is randomly generated based on questions you answer at the beginning of the game when you're talking to Rover. And so you'll hop off the bus and you'll be like, pig nose, weird eyes that don't make any sense. You got the like blush marks on your face, and you're like, "Wow, I am the most hideous thing I've ever seen."
Yeah.
So yeah, I always look it up when I start because I like to make sure I have like the face I want.
Yeah, I definitely would agree with that. And also, don't ask yourself what's the point of this game.
Yeah.
Because this is that one game that when people ask me, "Oh, okay, Animal Crossing, what is it?" I start to describe it, and they're like, "How is that fun?" And I'm like, "Because it is. I don't know how to describe it."
It's like you just get really invested, and I feel like maybe it's like coming from me, like being such an anxious person. It's like Animal Crossing is like real life, but with animals, and I don't actually have time frames for responsibilities. So I really like that about it. But there's still so much you can do in the world without getting bored.
That's true. Actually, in New Leaf yesterday, I won the bug tournament. Actually, just yesterday.
Congratulations!
I got a gold trophy.
All right. We ready to move on to what we dislike or would change about the original?
Yes.
All right.
Hey everyone, it's me again, Elia Rose. I just wanted to say thank you so much for watching this video. And you know what? If you're a fan of videos like this, you should totally subscribe and give this video a like. And comment below to let us know what type of videos you would like to see us create in the future. And if you would really like to support all of us here at the GameOverJesse channel, please consider purchasing a GameOverJesse t-shirt or becoming a Patreon at patreon.com/GameOverJesse, where you can receive many rewards, such as getting shoutouts, having any topic or theory that you select discussed on the podcast or made into its own video, having your question answered, joining on as a guest on the podcast, and playing with us during our Twitch live streams at twitch.tv/GameOverJesse, and much, much more.